these college.
Yeah, maybe on a Friday after a quiz, you could do it. It's,
I saw that on
Actually,
I
But yeah,
it's
like that was the stretch.
don't have them.
Mm,
And I know I handed them in.
it's pretty. This one looks pretty.
I know. Where's that one again? Forget.
Because the only one that I have is from last week. And you
It's
said
Franklin.
relax.
Ben Franklin.
I have no idea.
Or Franklin College. Olivia, look. I want to know.
I did. I didn't see it.
You didn't look close enough. It has to say where it is. Look at the address. Indiana. Was that difficult? No. It said Franklin, IM.
I don't like college application.
I thought you were almost done.
I am.
Because I don't have them.
I'm going there.
Send in those two.
Rainforest. Where's Hanover?
Where is this? Probably Indiana. Indiana has some, or it's Ohio. I don't know.
No, it's in Indiana. Hanover, Indiana.
Indiana has a lot of good universities.
I'm going there.
Just kidding. It'll work out.
grab a new word of the day sheet. As soon as teacher use comes up, here Holly, I can show you.
So jealous.
She's trying to study.
I think for spring break, I think I'm going to Florida with Kylie. Cause like, her mom like loves me, she's just like, you wanna come with us? And I was like, sure. They like, I'm like, wow. Florida's not that big of a deal. My parents really,
Well, usually you don't get to pay, right?
well, I go with my grandpa. Well, they're staying in like their house down there.
Oh, they have house.
I'm like, oh, house, or something who knows? They're like getting a new house, so it's supposed to be like ginormous, and I'm just like,
Marnay, you picked the word today. Write it on the board.
the word?
People print is special. We're in the fourth row, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like the orange should get some love.
Ours?
Yeah.
Ours is very, yeah.
What about report?
It's report.
Report.
How about quell?
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Rapport in French means relationship.
It's right above the R's.
What about,
You guys.
Oh, wait.
Wait, are we on the fourth word?
yeah, fourth.
Fourth word?
I just like Oblivious, let's do that one.
Oblivious is nice, but most people know
What about Lars?
What about salient?
That's what I just said, after before Lars.
I think we should do that one. I just found out I have to work on that sheet.
I'm not going to retreating. I'm gonna like have a scary movie marathon with my friend Lauren.
You can't even watch scary movies.
I can't, but
Well, I
she
thought
likes
you
scary
would
movies.
We're gonna go trick or treat and choose movie super
I was, but I decided I don't want to. I don't wanna go trick or treating, it's boring.
Your word is
Not
salient.
feeling it.
You're such a bitcher.
What's the definition of
Oh,
it? It's gonna be
it's
cold and I don't feel like walking
significant
around
and
that much and I don't need candy
conspicuous.
over it.
Significant conspicuous.
It's an S.
I'm over the point of
Holly, the one you're
too
missing,
much injured.
is from the week of the 11th of October.
Okay, I don't have it.
Neither do I. That's why it's called missing.
Okay, but I mean, I know I handed it in to you, so I don't
Then why don't I have it?
know.
Were you ever gone on a Friday?
I mean, except for like,
Except
No.
when?
well, we were going like, when was it, when did we have that performance thing?
Is it possible you didn't put your name on it?
It might be possible, yeah, because I might have handed them both to you, but maybe I just put my name on one of them. But I don't have it. 'Cause the only one that I do have is from last week.
Maybe you should fix that.
Holly, I will look through the stack again and let you know tomorrow.
Find out how the school looks. Sometimes it's right. Which one? Hold it. The blue is going to, it's like Halloween.
Halloween? You just Halloween colors. That's when you.
It's like, oh, you know, the blue.
How
Halloween.
I have black.
That's what I'm wearing is orange and black.
Okay.
It's orange.
What does salient mean?
Significant, conspicuous.
That looks really red.
Say it again.
Significant,
Okay, well, you can argue that with the nail polish people.
Significant what?
conspicuous.
Significant, conspicuous?
Are essays graded?
Hmm?
Are essays graded?
No, I just got them on Thursday. I graded Great Gatsby papers this weekend, so you'll have yours. They turned theirs in first, so they would argue. Okay, adjective.
Yes.
One of the salient differences between Allison and Nancy is that Allison is a foot taller. So significant, one of the significant differences. Okay? All right, I have a study guide for you for the novel. As we get deeper and deeper into it,
Who is the main character? Winston?
it has a tendency possibly to get tricky.
I already don't know.
Okay.
It's like a huge packet. Videos.
Now, I will collect those when we're all finished with the novel, so you have a few weeks to get it caught up.
That's what Winston
Okay.
is London England.
So you can, so as, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, okay, hang on one second. As, you know, an ongoing assignment, I would fill these questions out and get caught up, you know. Take a couple of days this week, maybe during your break, or take it home and get it filled out, because we're already through section 1, so that involves a couple of pages of it. What was your question, Marnie?
The setting of the novel is in London, so is it placed with London, England?
Well, the setting of the novel is a made-up place, remember?
Well, you said it was in London, because he always says like, I wonder what London was like in.
Oceana
Okay, so he thinks it's like,
would be the actual,
okay.
you can put both, but
Yeah.
it would be the actual place. It's a, what is Oceana a combination of?
How do I spell Oceana?
Ocean and then,
Yeah.
It was like a combination of like something like Eurasia
Yeah.
and,
See, Russia is actually in 2 continents. I don't know if you realize that, because Russia is just so huge. And so, Orwell made up a setting, Eurasia, and the actual setting of the novel is Oceania. Okay, last week, on Thursday actually, I assigned you to read chapter 1 and part 2. So let's discuss that before you, and then I'll give you some time to work on that, okay? So we are in part 2 now. Who would like to start discussion? Olivia?
He's like, the girl that he thinks is spying on him, she like set up a date with, cause she like slipped a piece of paper in his hand that said, "I love you."
Yeah.
And so now he's like, oh, I wanna love you too. So, yeah.
And what's her name?
I think it's
Julia, yeah.
Yeah.
This is so loud. Yeah. Yes, so he's intrigued, right? Would you be intrigued if someone slipped you a note that said, "I love you"?
Freaked out.
Freaked out?
I'd be kind of like,
Yeah, who are you weirdo, right?
but instead he's like, I wanna love
Well,
you too.
Yeah.
But think about it though, because you're in like a society where it's not permitted.
Right,
So I'm sure he's craving for it.
right,
'Cause he's
craving
so lonely.
attention, yeah, and affection. He is very lonely, that's one of the themes of the book, very lonely. And wants someone else to talk to, and I bet underneath he's, or secretly hoping that maybe she feels the same way he does about the society they're living in and all of that. Okay, so what else? He has the possibility of a girlfriend named Julia who already loves him. She jumped straight to love, right? So what else is going on, Lauren?
Well, I was just gonna say, he has to be like really careful with, you know, when he's trying to talk to her at lunch and they can't like he has to like casually go over there and he has to like wait a certain amount of days so he can like go even talk to her and stuff.
And why is that?
Cause otherwise the people will like get like suspicious, or like the government, cause like you're not supposed to develop feelings
Right.
for like people, and you know, they'd be like, oh, like they're actually connecting and having like a real conversation, like we need to
What are
stop
they
this.
talking about? Are they trying to overthrow the government, right? Because there's strength in numbers. You ever heard that cliche before? When a group of people get together, there's always a possibility that they're going to socialize and that they're going to have the same ideas and get more people and more people and more people, and then you'll have an anarchy on your hands, and the government doesn't want that, right? Because if you have a bunch of unhappy people, then you have trouble. And that's why they the government really keeps restrictions on everything, but especially on relationships. And we already said that they limit sexual activity for reproduction, right? Because they don't want you to feel happy, and they don't want you to feel any kind of pleasure. What's the relationship they want you to have with your own children?
like take a hold of the children, and it's like a non-existent relationship almost.
Okay,
I feel like they want people to be in fear of the younger generation, because the younger generation wants to follow the rules.
Younger people are easier to brainwash than older people, which we've already talked about. The younger people have been put up by the government to spying on their parents, right? So, the parents, do you think in this society, children have the same relationship with their parents as we do here in ours? No, why? Lauren, you're smiling.
Just it's like ridiculous. Like I can never turn my parents in for something. I think they don't. I don't know. It's like they don't have the love for them almost.
Okay,
Cause I mean, like if you love someone, you don't want to put them in a dangerous situation where they could, you know, like go to jail or whatever.
what would your parents have to do for you to turn them in?
Kill somebody.
Kill somebody?
Well, I mean, not even that.
Ollie's like,
Like if it was like an attacker,
It's like it's self-defense.
But yeah, if they're like trying to hit me or like abuse me, then.
But even still, sometimes you'd be surprised in the situation, like a lot of kids, you're, you know,
Right,
like,
yeah, that are
they still, they,
abused, don't
like, you know,
say
cause whenever I see stuff on
What if your
these-
parents had a meth lab in the basement?
I feel like we do life.
I'd be
I
like,
mean, I wouldn't
I try
really
to get
care.
help from other
Stupid.
family
You wouldn't
members
care?
or-
I mean, I know, it's not that I wouldn't care, I'd just be like careful, like I just tell my mom or like my parents just to be like careful.
well, it's kinda like this.
I'd probably tell them they're stupid.
When there's a person
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
love that has a problem, you wanna fix it for them.
Right.
You wanna help them through it to get rid of it.
Okay.
So I feel like that would be some case, you don't wanna just be like, hey, get the cops over here. You wanna be like, we're getting rid of this and we're gonna like people that have drug problems, we're like, we're gonna get you clean.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that people in your house can do that will put you in danger as well.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you draw the line?
That's a great question.
Olivia?
It's like the kids that have to go to foster care. Like, I know a lot of the kids my mom has to teach, a lot of them have really messed up like family lives. And if like the parent isn't in a position to take care of them, then even though they can't be with their family, it's like out of love that the parent, parent realizing they can't take care of them like they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in that sense, even though they can't be with their parents, it's out of the love for the child, where the society, I don't know if there's enough love for the children.
Okay, okay, what kinds of things do these kids turn their parents in for?
Affection or plotting against the government.
Plotting against the government. Okay, affection? What about in your house? Let's go back to that. If you were asked, by the government to turn your parents in for breaking the law, what if they were selling marijuana? Would you call the police?
I would try and get rid of it, like I would just be like, Mom, we need to like get rid of this, and then no one would find out about it, let's just do that, and, I mean, cause I wouldn't wanna get my mom.
Okay.
I wouldn't
But what if
wanna-
you had a scholarship to a great school and you could risk losing it? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, I'm asking all kinds of difficult questions. And I'm not gonna go tell your parents or anything, but, Yoko, get that meth lab out of your basement, Holly's gonna turn you in, no. What if it, for example, this weekend, there were several underage drinkers busted over here off of St. Joe
Is it
Road.
19 or something?
Yeah.
So, and some parents feel like I'll serve my 18-year-old alcohol because we're in my own home, and at least I can keep an eye on them. And some parents feel I would rather do that for my kids than send them to let them go to a party where they're gonna drink and get caught. But I also heard on the radio last week, this teenage girl was at a party and she got drunk, so she called her best friend to come pick her up. Her best friend, this was on the Burt Show, if you guys watched, wasn't it? Her best friend drove over to pick her up. At the same time, the cops arrived. And the cops arrested her as well. And she was a starter on the volleyball team, and she lost her spot. She lost respect of her coaches and her teachers, and she tried to explain to them, I wasn't drinking, I was going to pick up Sally, or whatever her name was, because Sally didn't want to call her parents, but she happened to be there at the same time. And I give that exact same example to my daughter Zoe. She's never gone to any parties, but I always say, you're an athlete at Southside. If you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, they're gonna take you in too. Now, of course, when they gave her a breathalyzer, this girl, she hadn't been drinking, so she got out of being arrested, but she was at the party. And she can stand there and say to her coach, I wasn't drinking and I really wasn't at the party to party, I came to pick up so-and-so. But to have to prove all of that and to have your reputation tarnished even just a little bit for a brief amount of time, people remember those things, even though you were doing a good deed, right? But because this other girl didn't really have the kind of relationship with her parents where she could call, you know, call them to come get her. When I taught at Southside, a student called me and a science teacher to come pick her up. She was at a party and realized what was going on and started walking. She left the house and started walking, and she was in a very, very sketchy part of town. And so we went to pick her up and we took her back home. But where, did I see a hand up as I was talking?
You answered my question.
Okay, so, you know, where do you draw the line? What does someone have to do before you'll turn them in? What if you have a female cousin who came to you and said, your dad molested me? And you're like, I don't believe it, that's my dad. He wouldn't do something like that. What happens then? I mean, that's a very touchy subject. Olivia?
I guess, like, even though it'd be really hard for me, I'd have to do what was right, no matter who it was or what the situation was, or like the persons it was. Like, I don't think I'd have a problem like calling in the cops if there was a party and people were using drugs. I wouldn't have a problem with that, but if it was a party with like all of us and some people from here were using drugs, I'm sure it'd be a lot harder to call,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I would still have to, even though it'd make it a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Even though those people might like hate you for the rest of your life.
It'd be
You
very,
still have to
it
do
would put
it.
you in a very difficult spot, and that's what you could say to those people. You know, if they say, I'm upset with you for calling the cops on me, you'd say, I'm upset with you for putting me in that kind of position, you know? And I've seen these shows on TV where you have interventions with the family member, right? The one who's like on meth or heroin or whatever their drug of choice is, and they're having a problem kicking the habit. The family decides to intervene, and eventually some of them will put the person in rehab. That's what you were talking about earlier, Renee. So, you know, there's really no rehab for sex offenders in my mind. I think once you do it, I think there's something going on up here. Do you ever hand up?
Like, even if it was like your parents or something, by not turning them in, it's not helping them. By like turning a blind eye, you're letting them continue the problem in a way. So in some sense, the kids are trying to help their parents, but they're turning them in for things that aren't even wrong. So that's
Right,
why
in the
it's so
book,
corrupt.
yes,
But
right. What if you were at Macy's and your mom started sticking stuff in her purse?
I would tell her to stop.
I take it back.
Yeah, me too.
You would what?
Take them back out.
I mean, I'm telling you all kinds of horrible situations, right? What if you and your mom are getting gas and she put the gas cap on and said, let's go, and she ran off without paying?
But isn't that not, that's not possible, because you have to like either like slide a credit card, right, or,
No, you can pay after.
oh, you can.
Yeah, some places. On my side of town you can't, but out north you probably can.
That would be like a situation.
where you could do that. Oh, you do that, you
Huh.
pay afterwards.
I've never been to a place where you can do that, yeah.
Like
But what would you do?
I'd be
Be
like,
like,
turn the car back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be like, Mom,
I try to
stop.
like understand what was going on in like her head and be like why are you doing this? Like,
what if you were at a restaurant and your mom and dad got the bill and everybody, you just walked out without paying? Because that's possible. You could do that
Yeah.
easily.
just go back and say here's some money.
Just be like,
My mom and dad are being very irresponsible today.
I'm
That's
sorry.
money.
They forgot.
that's actually happened to us, but we didn't do it on purpose. We
Right.
just like, I don't know.
Forgot,
we
yeah.
or something.
I mean, there's all kinds of situations where, that you may be put in as a young adult or even as an adult, where you have to make, you know, the judgment call. When I taught in Columbia City, we were getting ready to go to New York. we went 3 different times, and I took the yearbook and newspaper kids to Columbia. And one of the rules was, in order to go, you could not be suspended or expelled or in ISS, which is in-school suspension, or any of that, for any reason, inside or outside of school. You couldn't be at some party and get caught drinking anything, or I wasn't taking you to New York. Because if you're doing those kind of things in Columbia City, what are you gonna do when I take you to Manhattan, right? So, we almost get to the time to leave, it's like 2 weeks before the time to leave, and there was a party. And, 2 of my newspaper kids and 2 of my yearbook kids were involved in this party. And, and they were, 2 of the 4 of these boys were also athletes. So the athletic director got involved and suspended them from their seasons, and I had no choice but to meet with them and say, I can't take you. And it broke my heart because the one boy in particular, I was very close to his family. I had his older brother on the yearbook staff. I went to his older brother's baby's shower, and it was like, here I was having to tell him, I can't take you.